What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Real Breakdown. We're back at it again, guys. We are doing another review of WandaVision. This time we're going to be talking about episodes 3 and episode 4. Wow, a lot has happened in these two episodes since episode 1 and 2. And what can I say, guys? We're just going to get right into it. Episode 3, obviously, we're doing the 70s now. Now, I didn't watch too many 70s style shows, so I'm not sure if it's Brady Bunch or 70s show that they're trying to mimic, but regardless, we're now in color. It looked amazing. Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, the whole production design looked absolutely amazing. I loved the look that they went for it. Of a very nice breath of fresh air after the black and white first few episodes, which I enjoyed. But yeah, so what do we get in this one? Obviously, Wanda is pregnant. Her pregnancy is going a lot faster. Vision starting to get suspicious about stuff that's going on. And once again, Wanda correcting it, rewinding and fixing it so that Vision doesn't actually figure out what's going on. So we get a lot more in this episode than we have before. We get a few moments of Agnes and Herbert kind of breaking character while Monica Rambeau is in the house with Wanda as she's giving birth. And can I just say that Elizabeth Olsen's acting is absolutely amazing. I love how much she dives into this character. And every decade of television that they go through, she absolutely fully invests in the character and she dives deep into the mannerisms of that time. And I absolutely love that. So I thought she did a phenomenal job in this episode. I thought that her acting was fully on skill, like the faces she was making, the reactions, the way she was talking. And I actually that kind of feeds into a theory that I have of what I think Wanda's state of mind is right now in regards to what's going on here. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But episode 3, the big thing obviously is at the end, Monica Rambeau or Geraldine having that conversation with Wanda where Pietro comes up. We're talking about Quicksilver. You know, Wanda says, I was a twin as well after having her two set of twins, Billy and Tommy, which there was a whole lot of hilarity in this episode, but she's reminiscing about her brother, Quicksilver, and Geraldine breaks character and becomes Monica Rambeau and says, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And that just absolutely breaks Wanda down, and we see a dark side of Wanda. Wow, I was just absolutely impressed. The way that this show is being brought to us, you know, it's a very sitcom, very funny, but then when it gets into its serious moments, like you go from 0 to 60 real quick. And I think that they've been doing that. I think that they've been doing a great job of that all season long, and this episode was absolutely not an exception. They brought it down to a serious level. We saw a dark side of Wanda, and she took care of Geraldine and kicked her out of Westview. And obviously we get that ending, right, with all these trucks and military people coming over. So I'll talk about how that leads into episode 4. But coming out of episode 3, I was just mind blown when the name Ultron got dropped. When Monica Rambeau, Geraldine, name dropped Ultron, I'm like, oh my god, this is it. I was freaking out. I was like, I can't believe it. She mentioned it. She talked about Pietro, and then you just see how quickly Scarlet Witch, Wanda, just turns and says, excuse me, what did you say? What are you saying about my brother? And at that point, you know, Geraldine is trying to save it and be like, oh, I said you're such a strong woman. And she's like, no. What did you say about Quicksilver? What did you say about my brother? And it's just like, from that point, yeah. But then again, during that scene, they kind of go back and forth between Vision talking to Agnes and Herb, and you kind of get them almost confess to saying, like, we're stuck here, we are trapped, we can't get out of here. But then they obviously don't. And so Vision, once again, is figuring out that there's something not right here. But every time he gets close to figuring it out, Wanda decides to change things on him. So we'll see what happens as the show goes on. But yeah, episode 3 I thought was an amazing episode, probably my favorite one so far. Just because I loved the theme, and I loved how Elizabeth Olsen played Wanda's character, and Vision also, like, you know, just being a dad and freaking out that he's gonna have children. But that name drop at the end with Ultron, just tying it back, really got me. So now let's talk about episode 4, because episode 4 is just one of those where it's like just mind blown, but at the same time, I have a little bit of criticism for it. So I loved episode 4 because obviously it caught us up with like what's been going on in the real world, like what is going on really. So we found out what that symbol means. The circle with the sword is for sword, which after doing a little bit of digging, I did find out that, you know, it's kind of like the space version of SHIELD. You know, it's like it's still an organization similar to SHIELD, but except they focus on threats coming from outer space. So I'm not sure if they're going to play it exactly how it is in the comics. You know, I had to go to my trusty Marvel encyclopedia to look it up, and I don't think they're going to stick to it exactly. But obviously in episode 4, we get introduced to SWORD. We find out that that organization deals with these kinds of threats. To me, it's kind of a placeholder for SHIELD. Obviously, SHIELD went down, but you know, whether they're back or SWORD has been around this whole time, we don't know yet. But we did get introduced to, well, not introduced, we did see some old friendly faces in Kat Dennings' character from Thor, and also Agent Woo's character from Ant-Man, which actually I knew they were coming. I think I said in a previous video, we knew about Monica Rambeau. Obviously, we got confirmed that Geraldine is actually Monica Rambeau, Lieutenant Trouble, from Captain Marvel, and so I knew those characters were coming. I really do like how they were introduced. I didn't think they could have done a better job. The only criticism I have of that episode is that it was great that they showed us what was going on in the real world. I thought the beginning was amazing with Monica Rambeau coming back and you know, being undusted, what they call the blip, and coming back, you know, as to where in Spider-Man, they showed it in more of a comedic throwaway sense of like, yeah, people came back, it was awkward, but they're here. And here they were just like, no, this is scary. Like, people started appearing out of nowhere and no one knew what to do, and it was a nightmare kind of. And, you know, obviously the situation that Monica was in with her mom, that was just tough to watch, but very, very well done. So I did enjoy that. My criticism is that it kind of just, it proved what we were already thinking. It proved the theories that we had thought. And that's about it. I mean, we did get a little bit of extra, so I guess I can't call it a criticism. I really loved the episode. I thought it was very well done. I just felt like, okay, yeah, I already knew this. Yes, okay, cool. Thanks for confirming that. Now, what's next? What else? So, obviously, that's going to be the next episode. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little, you know, picky, and I shouldn't probably complain, but I just felt like, I was like, okay, yes, cool, awesome. I love that you did that. Awesome, fantastic. Kat Dennings is the one that figured out the TV thing. She's the one that's been watching the shows. She's fully invested, obviously, as we see. And, you know, it actually was Agent Woo who was talking through the radio. Like, all these things, basically, they caught us up on what was going on in the real world while the episodes of WandaVision we've been watching have been happening. So I do really like that. And obviously now we're going to see in the next episode what happens with Monica Rambeau now that she's back. And what is she going to say, and how are they going to proceed with that? But the interesting part to me, obviously, we got to see an extended version of that clip when Wanda faces Monica Rambeau and says, like, who are you? Why are you here? And we see Wanda get very dark and very vicious. She says, you don't belong here. You're an outsider. You're trespassing, and I want you out. Bang, and just throws her out with ferocity, and she's showcasing her powers, and she's saying, like, look, don't mess with me. Kicks her out in a very, very brutal way, might I add. And to be honest, I thought that, you know, right after that, we get a scene of Wanda being like, whoa, like, did I just do that? To me, that's what her facial expression said was, did I do that? Did I just throw this woman through all these walls? You know, and then we see her kind of like say, okay, I guess I did, and starts fixing the walls, right? So what that tells me, here's my theory for this episode, guys, is that there's been speculation of, is Wanda losing her mind, or does she actually know that she's in control here? And I know that there is a point where she does say, oh, don't worry, Vision, like, you know, I've got this all under control. But what I think is that I think Wanda's actually losing her mind. I think we're actually seeing, like, Wanda's mind being split into two, I guess, because if you really think about it, every episode she's kind of delved deeper and deeper into her sitcom character, but then also when she snaps out of it, she gets deeper and deeper into her aggressive, scary Wanda character, right? So in episode 3, I felt like she was super deep into the sitcom. I thought, you know, it was all about you know, her being in that like 70s vibe. Even the way she's talking is different. The way she's acting and moving is like, ooh, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then, you know, when she turns on the dark mode, it's like, whoa, like she's scary, she's aggressive. And so I think that we're really seeing Wanda like losing her mind and not being in control. Even though she says that she's in control, I think that there's two different entities inside her that are fighting against each other, and I don't think she's doing this really voluntarily. I think that, you know, she there's moments where she realizes like, what am I doing, like what's going on, but then she snaps back into that like, oh, you know, like everything is fine, you know. So it's interesting. It's interesting, and I do want to see what happens with, you know, Kat Dennings, Agent Wu, Monica Rambeau. I think it's interesting that they took this episode to just say, let's catch you up on what's going on in the real world. Let's give you some of these answers to your burning questions, but while also bringing up still some more questions. So I really enjoyed episode 4. I just felt like, okay, cool. You confirmed what we thought. Awesome. What's next? Like, give me more. I'm just ready for the next episode. I'm just super excited for it, guys. And I do love that. I love what they're doing with this show as far as the transitions and like how like now we're in full HD and the picture just looks amazing. Like, I really enjoyed the first few episodes, but it's nice to just be back in like, you know, full, you know, modern times. It definitely is a change of pace for the show. And I know a lot of people, you know, enjoy that. I was enjoying what I was getting, and I like that they decided to change it up for this one. So we'll see where it goes, guys. I don't know if my theories are right. You know I had some theories before, but they're kind of evolving as we continue to watch the show. And you know, I can't wait to see where this goes and how it leads into, you know, the larger MCU. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm excited for the next episode, and until then, see ya.